Hi all, welcome to our CSN English Club. We are learning the usage of various modal verbs. Already we have finished three pairs of modal verbs which are can, could, may, might and will, would. This video is all about the usage of another pair of modal verbs which are shall and should. First let's see the usage of shall. Shall is used to express an action which relates to future, or it is used to give the information about the futurity, which means when we want to express any future action then we have to use shall. Shall plus verb 1. Let's see some examples. I shall buy a flute for you tomorrow. Here shall plus verb 1 which indicates the future action. I shall buy a flute for you tomorrow. Next one, we shall play for India tomorrow. We shall play for India. We shall play. Okay. Next one, when shall we see you again? When shall we see you again? This is interrogative form of a future action. Tomorrow will be holiday. This is also a future action. Here I have used I and we mostly. I, we. These are called first persons. When we replace these first persons with other persons like second and third persons, the mood of the subject, the mood of the verb also may be changed. Here in these examples, the first person I and we both are replaced with the second and third persons. You is the second person, he, she, it are the third persons. See the first example. He shall attend the meeting now. Here the first person is replaced with the third person. Then the mood of the verb is changed. The mood of the verb is here command. In the second example, promise. In the third example, threat. So finally the ultimate purpose of using modal verbs are expressing different moods with the different modal verbs. So here when the third person is used, the mood is command, here promise, here threat. So shall is used to express command, promise or threat in the second and third persons. The second example is you shall have an ice cream during the interval. Okay, you shall not be apologized for your mistake. This is called threat. Now come to the next usage of shall. Shall can be used to express advice, offers and suggestions. When we want to express advice, offers and suggestions, then we can use shall with the help of shall I or shall we. Okay, let's see some examples. The first example is, which book shall I prefer? Which book shall I prefer? This is called an advice. Okay, I am asking an advice. Which book shall I prefer? The same expression can be expressed as, which book should I prefer? Which book should I prefer? This is also acceptable. Next one, shall I book a ticket for you? This is called an offer. Shall I book a ticket for you? It is called an offer. Shall we go for a coffee? Shall we go for coffee? It's also an offer. Shall we meet at the restaurant? That's called suggestion. Where shall we meet? Shall we meet at the restaurant? Shall I come with my sister? This is also called suggestion. Like that, we can use shall to express advice, offers and suggestions with the help of shall I and shall we. Now let's learn the usage of should or ought to. Should is equal to ought to. Both are equal. When we want to express an obligation or when we express a duty, then we use should or ought to. Let's see some examples. You should attend the class or you ought to attend the class. This is called an obligation or a duty. I should clean the floor or I ought to clean the floor. This is also an obligation. So here we use should or ought to. We should call him or we ought to call him. She should write to him or she ought to write to him. They should submit the IT returns or they ought to submit the IT returns. These are all called obligations or duties. Then we have to use the modal verb, that is should or ought to. We have learned that should or ought to is used to express an obligation or duty. Now another expression or usage of should or ought to is when we express an action, when we express an advice, there we use should or ought to. So should or ought to is used to express an advice. Here are some advice. You must do yoga every day to be healthy. This is called an advice. So then we use you should do yoga every day to be healthy. You should not go to late night movies. Next one, you ought to meet a doctor to get proper medicine for your headache. Okay, so we understood that whenever we want to express an advice, there we use should or ought to. Here is an important thing, the comparison of should and ought to with must and have to. Let's see. When we use must or have to, we have the impression that the obligation is being fulfilled or the obligation will be fulfilled. I think you understood. When we use must or have to, which means we have the impression that the obligation is being fulfilled or the obligation will be fulfilled. Then what about should or ought to? With should or ought to, we do not feel that the obligation is being fulfilled or the obligation will be fulfilled. Let's see the difference with some examples. Let's see some examples with should or ought to versus must and have to. The student should write slowly, the student ought to write slowly. The student must write slowly, the student have to write slowly. Here the first expression is with should or ought to, the second one is with must and must or have to. What's the difference between these two actions? In the first example, the student should ought to, should or ought to write slowly, which means here the student has no real intention, just he wanted to write slowly, just he is going to write slowly, that's all. The real intention is not prescribed here. Next, in the next example, the student must write slowly. That means if he really intended to write slowly, then he would say that the student must write slowly, the student have to write slowly. So the difference is the real intention is there in the second example, the real intention is may not be there in the first example. Next example, we should have a meeting to discuss our defeat. We must have a meeting to discuss our defeat. In the first example, here the expression is with should, the second example is with must. We should have a meeting to discuss. That means there is no certainty that the meeting will take place. Okay, there is no certainty, there is uncertainty, not compulsory. There may not be the intention, real intention. But in the second example, we must have a meeting to discuss our defeat, which means they are confident to discuss a meeting, to set up a meeting. The real intention is there in the second example. If they really intended to conduct a meeting, they have to say that we must have a meeting to discuss our defeat. This usage with very useful in our daily life. What is that? Should or ought to with the continuous infinitive. Should or ought to with the continuous infinitive. When we use should or ought to with continuous infinitive, which expresses the idea that the subject is not fulfilling his obligations. Let's see some examples. He ought to be practicing for his game. He shouldn't be wasting his time on seashore. I think you understood the example. He ought to be practicing. This is called continuous infinitive. Here ought to is used with continuous infinitive. This is called continuous infinitive. This is also continuous infinitive. Okay. Here shouldn't or should or ought to both are used with continuous infinitive, which means the subject is not fulfilling his obligations. Here the subject is not fulfilling his obligation. That means he is acting foolishly, he is acting rashly, he is not acting sensibly. That means, okay. So here I think you understood the meaning. He ought to be practicing for his game. He shouldn't be wasting his time on seashore. Next, see the next example. They should be following traffic rules. They should be following traffic rules. This is the continuous infinitive. Okay, here should is used with the continuous infinitive. They should be following traffic rules. That means here the subject is they, the subject is not fulfilling their obligation. Okay, that means we are not following them, that means they are not following the traffic rules, so we have to express that they should be following traffic rules. Next one, we should not be revealing this secret. We should not be revealing this secret. This is also used with continuous infinitive. Continuous infinitive with should. Understood? This usage also very useful in our daily life. What is that? Should or ought to with the perfect infinitive. In the previous one, we have discussed the continuous infinitive with the should or ought to. Here we are going to discuss the perfect infinitive is with the should or ought to. Should with perfect infinitive is used to express an unfulfilled obligation which was neglected before. Okay, when we want to express an obligation which is unfulfilled, that was neglected, then we have to use should or ought to. Let's see some examples, then you can easily understand. You should have informed her that her seat was not booked. You should have informed her. You should have informed her that her seat was not booked. What does it mean? That means that was neglected action, unfulfilled action. Okay, this was unfulfilled. That means the seat was not booked. That was not informed. So then we have to express you should have informed that. You should have informed her. Okay, next one. You should have obeyed your parents. That means you didn't obey your parents. That was neglected. That obligation is neglected. That obligation is unfulfilled. So then we have to suggest him that you should have obeyed your parents. Next one, they ought to have given you a signal to stop there. That means they didn't give any signal to stop. So we have to express that that was neglected and unfulfilled. So we have to suggest them that they ought to have given you a signal to stop there. Here ought to is used with the perfect infinitive. This is called perfect infinitive. Okay. Next one, we should not have closed the door. It was not windy then. Here also the perfect infinitive is have closed. Here the negative modal verb is used. She should not have closed the door. It was windy then. That means actually she neglected to close the door. That is called unfulfilled obligation. So then we have to tell her that she should have. We have to think that she should not have closed the door. It was windy then. Next one, the doctor should not have given that injection. Have given. This is called perfect infinitive. Here also the negative modal verb is used. The doctor should not have given that injection. That means the doctor have given that injection. That was neglected and unfulfilled. So then we have to express the doctor should not have given that injection. Next one,